Welcome to your strength workout. If you haven't already done so and you have like 1 minute or 2 minutes extra, just go ahead and do that mobility workout. I know I say it every time, but I'm trying to drill it into you that before you do a workout, you just need to mobilize your shoulders and your hips. We are about to get through 4 intense strength exercises in the next 15 minutes. We are hitting every single body part. Now, what we're going to try and do is work minute by minute to get as many sets as we can out of these exercises, starting with your squats. If you have a heavier set of weights or a dumbbell, please use that for this workout. Now, just assuming you haven't done any kind of mobility whatsoever, we're going to do a very short, very short leg warm-up. So what I would like you to do is take 2 arms up to the sky, diving down, and we're going to walk ourselves into a plank position, which I know is not very leg orientated, but we're about to change that. Step in with one leg, and we're just going to take that twist. Don't go into a thread the needle, just hold this shape, hold this shape. Return the hand back to the floor, switch legs for me. So this is your lizard with rotation, but we just stay in the rotation. We're not going to switch. Bring that hand down and repeat. Step in. Lean into the hips a little bit more and hold it. When we get into our squats today, we want to make sure that we can get really deep into those squats. Step back and switch. Lean into the hips. A warm-up isn't about just warming up the body. It's more like a prep. It's a way to prepare the body. Hold it here for the workouts. And I know we've got squats today. So when I know I'm doing squats, I would never miss this kind of prep, this kind of warm-up. Okay, just come back into that plank and then land the knees softly down. Hold it here, press the floorboards away and push the shins into the floor. We're going into an arm and leg extension, switch. So this is a full body workout, this one here. What you'll also find is I've added, or will be adding, depending on when you're watching this, a full upper body, 15 minutes of upper body is intense, and a lower body. So we're covering all bases. 2 more, and then we're ready to go. If you don't feel like this was enough for you, you know what to do. Okay, let's come back up, tuck the toes under, scoop the belly, pike up, walk 1, 2, 3, 4, hang. Let's just give yourself a little moment to check on the lower back, and then we round slowly up and release. Okay, we're going to grab the heavier set of weights if you can handle it at this early stage of the workout. So I've got my 5 kilos ready here. Obviously, you might be using heavier weights. Kettlebells are great, by the way, a space saver. Okay, how are we doing these squats? We're going to do a sumo squat. So what I want you to do is have your legs about 1 inch or 2 wider than your hips, and we're going to have our dumbbells resting in front of the pelvis. That doesn't mean I want your arms dangling. So set your arms up, slight bend in the elbows and a nice strong posture, and we're going to take that down, and we're going to squeeze lift. So we're kind of on the minute here. Squeeze lift. The 15 minutes does include that short warm-up, by the way. I just can't bring myself to get you lifting weights without some kind of setup. So that if you're ever wondering why it feels like you might lose, or I might be adding a minute or 2, it's really important. It would be unprofessional and unsafe to not have a little bit of a warm-up at the front. We go again. If you feel like you don't need it, you can always fast forward if you've done another workout. Right, this is your last rep here. Down and up. Now, if you feel like you could have probably done a little bit more, you're going to add 5 reps. It means we shorten your rest, because we're going to have a few seconds rest now, but I want you to get those extra 5 reps if you feel like your weight just wasn't quite heavy enough. So there's always going to be enough time for those 5 reps. If you don't need those 5 reps though, you don't need to do them. Now, I'm going to start setting up the next exercise. You're still having a rest. This is your rows. So what we're going to do is we're going to hinge at the top of the pant line. We're going to turn the palms away, and we're going to pull the elbows past the waist. Now get ready to join me, please, when you are ready. We're going to pull the elbows past the waist. Now this is a circuit, but it's not a circuit that's designed to make the heart rate go up. When we're doing short workouts, we're trying to get as many movements in our body as we can. So rather than just doing 3 sets of squats in a row, I'd rather in the first few minutes, we've already worked every single muscle in the body. Okay, 2 more. Just drive the elbows past the waist. 1 more. And then take a breather. Sometimes people say to me that doesn't feel great on their backs. So while we're having a rest, I'm going to show you a quick alternative. I'm going to use my couch here. This is quite a slightly different version of a row, but essentially you lean on a chair or your couch and you just do a single arm row. So take that as an option. We're going to have probably 2 more sets left, so you've got enough time to do one on one arm and one on the other. So that's nice parallel pelvis, just driving the arm up. Okay, getting ready for chest press. So I need you to come down onto the floor. You've got to be careful here if you're holding a heavy set of weights. We're going to come and lie down on our back. So you saw me holding both of my weights. I did not let them go at all. And we're going to take our elbows all the way down to the floor. And I want you to squeeze the chest muscles as you lift. This is obviously a chest exercise. There's lots of press-ups in the HIIT workout. I'm sure you've noticed, or if you haven't, you will. So we're just hitting the chest in a slightly different way, pushing weights up above towards the floor, towards the ceiling rather. If you have a bench, I know some people have a bit of exercise equipment at home. You could also do this, of course, on a bench. And what that gives you is a greater range of movement because you can take your elbows all the way down. 2 more here. And 1 more. Now I'm going to keep you on the mat. So how do we safely get the weights down? Rotate the wrists, bend the elbows, and then just very carefully land them on the floor. If that doesn't feel good for you, sit up and put them down. So you just come up to a seated position and you put them down. Just please be safe. Interlace the hands behind the head. Let's get the core involved. Legs to tabletop position. Squeeze your legs together. Give me an out breath. We're going to go into crisscross. So pull one leg in and one leg long. Twist and switch and switch. Now I've chosen this exercise because it keeps everything moving and it gives us a bit of rotation in the workout, which is, I think, missing from if we don't add this in. Plus 40 seconds of crisscross is not easy. Twist. If you're struggling with this one, I'm going to give you a quick alternative, so carry on, but you could leave both feet down and do a slow motion version. And another thing to remember is the pelvis should not be rolling, bobbing up and down. So keep the pelvis flat. 3, 2, 1, and done. Have a rest. Okay, I want to come up to a standing position. So don't rush, roll onto your side. I'm not going to make you fling yourself up. Just, you've got enough time to get yourself safely up off the floor. You can do it in the way that some of us have been doing it together, in our longevity test style, where we come up off the floor without using your hands. If you're up for that, give that a go. Okay, are we ready for our next set of squats? So safely pick your weights up. If they're still on the floor, just please be careful as you're bringing them up or put them on somewhere high. Okay, we're ready for our squats. So we're going to take those weights in between in front of the pelvis. Nice wide stance, turn out the toes. Let's go 40 seconds. Come down low and squeeze. I want that bum down. If you're doing these workouts with me, it should be very easy to distinguish a squat from a deadlift. We want the butt right down to the floor if we're doing a squat. There should be no doubt that you are in a squat position. It's the position we need, as you know, for getting on and off the loo, getting on and off the couch. Time for 3. Here we go. 3. And 2. Now we're going to do 1 more. If you've got 5 more reps in you, you keep going, please. And we're going to prepare for the rows. So you're either finishing your final 5 or having a rest. Quick reminder, for 1 set only on 1 arm, that can be your row. Otherwise, join me. Let's get set together, please. We're going to turn the palms away. We're going to hinge at the knicker line, bend of the knees. Here we go. Driving the elbows past the waist, rolling the shoulders back towards each other. This is great for posture. And of course, the all-important core wraps around the spine. When I first started doing these, I did feel my back every now and again. And you might have seen me in other workouts just kind of stand for a second. Go do that. Do what you need to do. if you can manage this workout, if you can manage this exercise rather. We're also hitting the biceps here, which is why I've chosen this option today. Here we go, 3 and 2. The arm workout that we do soon, come out of that, is going to be a bit more about isolating the smaller muscles in the arms. So if you're up for a bit of bicep curl action, you definitely want to do that workout. Okay, we can put these down. No, we can't. We're taking them with. Sorry, excuse me. We're going to bring them to the floor with you. We're doing our chest press. I'm using the same weights, which is why I made a mistake there. So just very carefully roll onto your back and get those arms up. You would do the exact same thing if you were on a bench. Okay, here we go. 40 seconds. Chest press. Probably the easiest of all the exercises. But what I'm trying to do is hit the big muscles in your body, and knowing that we're also getting multi-joint moves, compound moves, which give you much more bang for your buck. So we've had the squat, which is one of the best ones, one of the best compound moves. The rows, you were in a bent over position, so we're using your legs, your core, and of course your back. And now we're lying on the floor in your chest press position. We're working our chest, our triceps, our shoulders, and hopefully your core is very much switched on. We've got time for 3 more. 3 and 2. We're going to get ready to drop the weights in just a second very carefully. So we're going to rotate the wrists, bend the elbows, and then just carefully place the weights down. You could of course sit up to do that if you need to. If your back needs a bit of TLC, you could do some bridges at this point. Otherwise, we're back into our crisscross. Interlace the hands. Another multi-joint movement, because we are moving every muscle in the body. And we're not going to go mega fast. I would never call these bicycles, because that's not really an exercise I'd ever do. But we're keeping the pelvis flat. And of course, I've nicked it from Pilates. Because if you're doing Pilates, you know you're doing something right. Twist. Keep the pelvis still. 4, 3. Are you ready for your final set, guys? 1, and take a little rest. As always, there won't be time for a massive stretch after or cool down. So just be preparing that you're going to have to do a little bit of a stretch at the end yourself. Okay, let's safely get up off the floor. I'm going to disappear for 2 seconds while I grab some water. I'm still here. I'm just going to have a sip. Please do the same. Okay. Are you ready? Let's get our weights. So safely pick the weights up. Back in squat position. Have the weights in front of you. Are you ready? Let's go. So we've used our minutes wisely to get a nice amount of sets reps out of these exercises, and including enough of a rest that our body doesn't think we're doing a cardio class, knows we're trying to build muscle. We've been moving for about 40 seconds each time, but with these squats, if you've got 5 more in you, we're going to take those 5 more reps, especially as this is your last round. Squeeze the glutes just gently at the top to help you drive up. Keep going. Okay, if you've got 5 more reps in you, stay with me. Lean into the heels. Lean into the heels. We got 2. I am feeling this, loving that burn. Take a break. Oh, okay, legs are feeling a little bit like jelly. Going to get ready for our rows. So if you opted for the version, the modified version, please make sure you do the other arm. Get yourself set. Otherwise with me, 2 parallel feet. Turn the palms away, lean. Bend of the knees. Here we go. Drive and down. Drive. Hit those back muscles. We've got the core working so strong here. If your core is weak, you will struggle with these exercises. So I recommend spending a little bit more time on the Pilates workouts before you really start to feel like, you know, you can do these without any pain. Alternatively, use the modifications. That's why they're there. We also don't have the same body all month round. When you're due for your period, this might not be a very comfortable position for you. When you've had your period, when the good hormones are in, you can try new things. Okay, we're done. Take a breather. Great time to start if you have a cycle. It's a great time to try those harder exercises, perhaps when you are a couple of days after your period. All these little amazing things about the female body. All right, let's come down onto the mat. I can see that my timer might go off before we finish, but that's okay, we can cope. Take the weights up towards the sky and off we go. Push and pull. Now we're not going really fast here. We're sort of doing a pace that you can feel the correct muscles working. Press. This is where you might be using your slightly lighter weights, although I tend to find with chest press, because it's such a large muscle group, you can still get away with a heavier weight. Press, drive it up. Press. Make sure the core is nice and strong. 4 more. 4 and 3. And I've got something else coming up. We're not going to do crisscross. Okay, bring the weights down. Carefully bring yourself up to a seated position. I'm going to flip over, find a plank position. You can be on your elbows if this doesn't feel good for you, and just hold it here. I've got a timer that's going to go off in a few seconds. Once that timer goes off, we're going to come up into our pike. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Pike. Walk your hands back. Round up. Someone in your house is going, what's that horrible noise? Take a breather. Thank you for working out with me. Go and have a look at the other workouts in this series. Otherwise, have a great rest of the day.